Alright, so my wife kind of gave me a challenge the other night. We went out and we were talking about this micro adjuster. She was having a hard time conceiving what I was talking about. But anyway, I brought her, when we came home, I brought her down to my shop. I showed her this. And she said, well, yeah, that's a nice idea. But what if somebody doesn't own a fence like yours? How can they use it? And it got me thinking, you know what? There are a lot more guys out there that own just a Biesemeyer style fence that would like to have a micro adjuster. At least I'm thinking maybe they do. So I've racked my brain a little bit and I've come up with an idea that I think will work. And I'm gonna wing it here and put it together. And if it does work, then I'll draw it up. So my first thought was to come over here to this Biesemeyer style fence. You'll have to imagine that this is not an aluminum extrusion, but what we're going to do is drill and tap 2/4 20 thread holes on the opposite side of the pointer, and we're going to mount a piece to that. So I've got a piece of 1/4 inch plywood here that I'm going to route 2 slots in. I'm going to figure out what length I need, and then to that I'm going to attach a 3/4 inch saddle with a fixed slot, I guess, that I can mount my threaded rod to. So then the adjustment will take place down here. So it's after giving it some thought, those slots are way too long. So I shortened them up just because I want to keep this structural integrity intact, and I think this is going to weaken it too much. So now they're about 1 inch long. I was thinking you could do this with a couple of, well-drilled holes, and you could eliminate making the slot, but I think here's why you're going to need a slot. I put this piece underneath here that I'm going to attach to it to make a right angle. Scribed a line underneath here with my pencil, and then you can see that in order to get this and this, these two planes in the same plane, or these two surfaces in the same plane, you're going to need to be able to move this in and out. So that's the reason I'm doing that. So I've got my line scribed. I'm going to cut that to length and then figure out how I'm going to attach it to that saddle. I think I'm going to make a dado. So there's my line. I think I'm just going to make a dado cut into this and glue it in there. And if I do need to reinforce it, I'll just do that with some dowels. Okay, I'm making good progress here. I've got my right angle piece made. I don't have this glued in yet because I need to do another operation to it, but I routed a groove here and then squared it off, and then I'm going to mount this piece in here, and I'm going to use this drift punch to find my center point to make the U channel, I guess. So what I've done here is I'm going to bring this up, and you can see that I made my saddle, and the difference with this version is this ear extends down below the locking knob. So I'm going to lock it, and then I'm going to take and move my fence over till it just catches that and give it a little push. And that's my center line. And that's all I'm really worried about, is just the center line, because I'll go past that point anyway with a 3/8 router bit. And the other thing that I want to do is use this large piece to make my groove, or my U-channel, rather than a smaller piece. Then I'll cut it to size. So far so good. I think this is going to work out just great. I've got some dressing up to do on it. And the one thing I will tell you here too is that when I made this mark, I've got this about a 1/16 of an inch off the rail. So it's not hitting, it's not riding on the rail itself. It's free. And that's perfect. So now I'll make my marks. See, this just slides right in there. I'll make my mark on the bottom for that cut. And then I'll cut off about, I don't know, it doesn't have to be symmetrical in this case here. I don't want too much hanging out there. So maybe I'll take it to about here, 3/4 or so. I wanted to show you how I glued this up, but I had to put some outside pressure on here to get it to square up, but this clamp on the inside pulled this down tight, and then out here I got it pulling tight on the near side here. So it looks good. Okay, my wife's challenge has been met. This works equally well as my other design. The difference being it's a little bit more bulky, I guess, and it's on this side of the fence. It's right here in front of you, you know, as you're working. Sorry, let me back this up a little bit here. So as you're working, why you're standing right in front of this mechanism. I guess you can take that for whatever it's worth. The good news is that everything is below the surface of the work, so that this doesn't interfere with anything. So you can see that you can slide your work over the adjuster and not have a problem. A couple of things that I want to note here is that, I guess I'll just show you first of all how well it works here. So it's, you know, if you want to just thumb it, you can thumb it over or bring it back, whichever direction you're going to go. So your max adjustment is here. Just loosen that up, slide the whole mechanism one way or the other, lock it down with that thumb screw again, and you're good to micro adjust. And then lock your fence in place. So it works fantastic. Now the one thing I will show you that I changed here and didn't show it on camera, but gotta grab my tool here. So if you lock this down, you know, then undoing the threaded rod is easy. Just loosen up that nut there. Then this whole thing can lift off and be out of the way. 2 screws here to get this up out of the way, and same thing going back. So you do need the slots, because this thing has to kind of find its center on the threaded rod. And then when you take these out, I want to show you underneath here what I did. That's a little bit different. I added this piece here as a stiffener, and it really made a big difference. This thing doesn't flex hardly at all now, so that's good. And I was thinking about reinforcing this joint with dowels back here, but I don't think that's necessary at all. So putting it back together, I'll show you why you need to have that, why you need to have the slots here for this thing to float. So I'm just going to hand tighten these So I can still move it. There. Now when you drop this on over the slot, you're going to see how it just wants to find itself right there. So what I've learned is that I'm going to tighten this first, because this tends to pull it out just a little bit, and then it looks like we're good to go here. Loosen these up again just to make sure we're, oh yeah, there, see, it did move, so that's good. Now we tighten it up, just snug. I mean, it doesn't have to be crazy tight. Same thing here. Now I can loosen this to make sure that I get a good bite on this one. And that's it. You're good to go. Tighten this back up. That's loose. And now you're able to operate the mechanism and micro adjust your fence. So I guess the one advantage I will say about this one is it's on this side of the fence, so that it gives you maximum capacity. I don't know that you're ever going to need to micro adjust a 50-inch cut. I would guess that the bulk of this work is going to be done inside of 12 inches. And that's the reason I like mine on the other side. So this thing is reversible like the other one. You can take it off and mount it on the pointer on the other side, and flip this over, so it can be used on both sides. So that's fine. But then you lose your tape. But if you do own a Biesemeyer style fence, all you need to do is drill and tap two quarter 20 holes, 2-inch on center. You know, like I said, mine are mirror images of the pointer, and yeah, that's it. You're good to go. I mean, so you don't have to have an extrusion to mount my previous version. You can mount it right to the iron, the angle iron, and have all the capabilities of a micro adjuster. So there you have it. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.